Lo and behold, the Plinx, Mastery rank 8, 20 heat damage, 26 puncture, pretty nice on the crit, ridiculously low on the status, yet again requires more of these systems that you have to do the profit taker bounties to be able to get, so you can't do that until you max out the leveling, the standing even with Solaris United, so you can open that up, so you can start doing that, so you can get the resource to build this. And I mean, from the looks of it, you would think, okay, it looks revolver based, let's compare it to the Vasto. It's actually not so bad in comparison. Has less status, a heck of a lot more crit, almost similar on damage. And then you realise, if you actually read the description for this, it is a simple battery powered pistol. So it doesn't work like a revolver does. Luckily though, it has this many polarities. Yep, look at them all. Oh, you're going to be able to do so much with that, like format it at least 3 times, because you're going to need probably 2 Vs for this, depending on how that fires, having a 10 magazine and quite a slow reload at 3.33. And I'm wrong, that's actually a fast reload, because if we go in and compare this to the Lex, if I can even... oh, there's one. That is the slowest thing ever, and it's a 1.08, whereas the Kunai reloads quick and is a 3.33, so it actually has a quick reload. Glad I noticed that after I said it, it didn't quite seem right. As expected, this works kind of similar to, was it the Siren or Chiron or whatever it was called? It has an internal battery that charges as you use it. So the magazine is more of a charge than it is an actual magazine. The actual projectiles have a flight speed that, if you don't counter for them, can be problematic, but after using this thing, just trying to level it up once, you can get used to that fairly easy. It's like the Bolto or the Boltos, or any of weapon that shoots darts, really. Bows are the same. This thing falls into that category because there is the travel time, and you will find yourself missing quite a lot with weapons like this. The first real problem with this came with the fact that, well, it had no polarity, so you're really going to be struggling to get this thing, I'm not going to say usable, but up there. Because you're going to need at least a V for Hornet Strike. It does work good on crit, so you're probably going to need one for Prime Target Cracker and one for Prime Pistol Gambit. Then you're up to 3 before you've done pretty much anything else to this, which means you've leveled it 3 times. And that's one of the big problems with this. If it had came with a V or even a dash, would have probably done. Simply because it's not worth building this for status, because it only really has a 4% status chance. And you've got to remember, it does puncture and heat damage as it's 2 elemental types. So yes, you can still change the heat combo to something. I changed mine to blast because it knocks enemies over. I did add corrosive as well, but that's interchangeable for pretty much anything. But the problem with this is, unlike the Chiron or whatever that thing's actually called, the recharge rate on this was actually much better. So you could easily empty the very small, in my opinion, magazine of 10 very quickly, because it has a fire rate of 3.33. And at first I hated this thing because you're just spamming fire, the 10 rounds are gone, you're out of ammo, you've got to swap to something else. And I just kept thinking, what is the purpose of this thing if you're constantly having to swap to something else because the enemy you're shooting at is on top of you? In my defense, I was using this on some higher level bounties for the Voxelaris, so it was useless, and I had it set up for blast damage when I should have been running it in magnetic. So once I actually got the former in there, it kind of became much better because you could add some more mods in, and yeah, throw a bit of, well, what is that mod called? Because everybody tells me off for running Malignant Force, not Malignant Force, that's the elemental one. Magnum Force instead of Augur Pact, because Augur Pact adds 90% damage, whereas the other one is 45? Or it could even be 66 damage, and it takes away the accuracy and it costs twice as much to use it. No, I did not throw this one on here, I was actually running Augur Pact, and it started to become a much different beast. Until, like everything, until you get the former in there, this thing was kind of bad with the small magazine, and then once you get it so it's actually starting to deal some damage, you can see where they were going with this weapon. I was really hating on this until I dropped Augur Pact in there, threw the corrosive on there, and started dealing a lot more damage, because with the primed pistol gambit and such on here, it has a 91.8% crit chance. With mine only has a 5.7 times multiplier, which can be made higher, but my primed target cracker is not quite maxed. And it showed the difference in this after formering. It did change my mind on this. This actually became quite a usable weapon, especially with that ammo regen, the battery powered side of it, recharging at quite a nice speed. It wasn't slowed down like some of the other things have been, and if it wasn't for the projectile speed on this, this would have been kind of semi-perfect, but it needs that projectile flight speed. Otherwise, this thing would have been too perfect, and for long missions where you know you're going to run out of ammo, like survivals and things like that, this thing started to make more and more sense because it's battery powered. There is, well, now I think about it, the arcane I was about to mention is actually just for the kit guns, so they wouldn't actually work on this, so that would have been completely meaningless. But it would be nice if they do release a mod that you have reload speed mods. This is the second or third secondary weapon that runs on a battery, so it will never really run out of ammo, you just have a recharge rate. If they continue on this trend, there needs to be a recharge rate mod, because increasing that timer would make the lack of damage that this thing suffers, remembering it only has a base of 26 puncture and 20 heat, does have 32% crit chance, but with a 4% status chance, makes it a real pain for some of the higher level stuff. Would definitely recommend taking anything apart from this when you do higher level missions, but for day-to-day use, it was actually good because it didn't run out of ammo. But we need that ammo. The battery recharge rate, there's an arcane that does it for kit guns, there needs to be a mod that does it for guns like this, and it's killing me, I can't remember how to pronounce the name of that other weapon, because I even looked it up. Siren, Chiron, whatever it's called. But anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time.